If your AI agents and automations don't work with your project management system like ClickUp, Asana, and Monday, then you don't have scalable systems and you might still be operating with some chaos happening. So, in today's episode, Micah and I are going to be talking about just that and some of our favorite AI automations that we've built with our project management system, ClickUp. Welcome to Automate Your Agency. Every week, we bring you expert insights, practical tips, and success stories that will help you streamline your business operations and boost your growth. Let's get started on your journey to more efficient and scalable operations.
Well, I would even say if we are really thinking about this topic today, as much as we want AI agents to do everything, they can't. They still need that hand holding. They're still like those fresh interns that don't have the experience. So you need a person to look and review and say, is this good? And if you're not using Asana, ClickUp, or Monday, or a work or project management system to organize those tasks that you need your team to do, then it's not maybe chaos. I think it absolutely will be chaos because you'll have automation sending requests out, maybe Slack. Well, who's keeping track of this? How is a project manager ever going to keep track of that?
Or any team member. I mean, that's like one of the pain points that we hear, right? Is that
Right.
things get lost in Slack or Teams or whatever. And even if you're using agents, which I hope you are, they still need to be working with your work management system or project management system, whatever you want to call it, because that is still your hub for where work is done. And we have so many that we've used that are absolutely some of my favorites and the ones that we're implementing with our clients.
So one of my favorites that we've implemented ourselves is the AI agent system that we built to help us with podcasts.
Love that one too. There's a lot of reasons, and one of the main reasons that we always implement agents is to help reduce tedious work that our team is doing. And it reduced 75% of the work that we were doing with a podcast. And it all works within ClickUp. So everything, we're still having the human do things, and that's where the hub of our system for the podcast is. But this is the difference between using like ChatGPT, where a human is still going in and prompting and writing things, and having an agent reduce the workload. Because beforehand, we were using ChatGPT to help us come up with episode topics or a description. But we reduced the time by 75% by going from ChatGPT prompting to building an agent that built out the process.
And I would say directly within ClickUp because
Yes.
where we used to have to copy and paste out of ChatGPT and then create a new ClickUp task, organize that, update the description, create a new ClickUp doc, list out things in there, all
Create
of
an
that.
asset builder in Dropbox. Like everything that you do for your podcast or what we did for our podcast got automated by a transcript getting finished from one of our
Yes.
podcasts.
Yeah.
And it all goes into ClickUp.
Absolutely. Yeah. The agent is going to create all of that. It creates it all in ClickUp. And then our team has everything structured. So when they're looking at it in ClickUp, they know which episode it's for, which Dropbox folder it's related to, what the summary of the transcript is so they can relate to it, what tasks are left. And as they're working through the final task that needs to happen that we don't want automation to do because it'll be terrible, is that's all happening in ClickUp. And that means you or I or a project manager or anybody else can look at it and go, this is where we're at. This
Yeah.
is what we need to do. This is where this episode, like all the questions that we would normally have, hey, where are we at with episode 99? Right?
Yes.
Is now like, I'm just going to go and look.
Yeah. And so if nobody else listens to this whole episode or knows what to do next, the most valuable piece that we just said is we were already using AI for our process. We changed and used an agent and it'll reduce the workload by 75%. And that's not a made up number. That is looking at the hours month after month that we were using after a year of production of our podcast compared to the last 6 months of using the agent. And that is the time difference. So
Yep.
amazing.
All right. So, Elaine, another example of this that, again, we use internally every single day. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but we have an agent that's watching our email inbox. And anytime we get errors or warnings or maintenance notifications that things are going to be down, it's going to go and it's going to identify from the message who this is for, which client is it for? Is it one of our internal projects? Which automation is it for? Which automation platform is it coming from? Then it's going to do its own research to say, well, what's the most common ways that people would fix this? Then it's going to go and search ClickUp and find the right project, folder, list, task, create a task if it doesn't exist, and then add comments with all the context that it pulled out from that
Yes.
information. I
Again,
think that
something we
saves
were
like,
doing
oh, we
and with
had it like
human.
somebody had to watch that every single day.
Yeah, and then get it into ClickUp, and so that our team could look at whatever that issue was, a timeout, an error, data incorrect, whatever it might be. It needed to go into ClickUp so our team could take care of it because, again, that is where work is happening. We are not using email and forwarding emails to each other to solve problems. That goes into our project management system, but we eliminated the manual work. And if multiple, like I remember this one time, Micah, where we were getting multiple notifications from like make.com or something for a specific workflow that was down. And it kept finding the same task. It didn't create a new task. It
Yep.
just found the issue in ClickUp and it would comment. Like it really is like not a person working on your team that it's intelligent enough to go, I don't need a new task for this. There already one exists. And I'm going to comment on it. And it got more urgent with its notifications
Yeah,
to
it was
us
getting
in
like,
that task.
this is serious, guys.
Yes.
Like, let's do something about this.
Yes. And so this is part of that email triage that we do for ourselves, obviously in this example, but we also do for our clients where if you have a support email where agents can be watching it, find that client in your project management system and then create an item based off of that email. Really important. We can get into some nuance on a different podcast about email triage, but having a central location where this information is coming in is really important. And the second piece of this is that your project management system needs to have that client in there as well. So, really good data means good outputs.
Well, and I guess that, I think before I get into the third example that you just reminded me of is the idea that because we have ClickUp, when an error comes in, we're now able to collaborate as a team on it. If
Hmm.
somebody has a question, they can app mention somebody in 2 seconds. It's already assigning people automatically. Like
Hmm.
all of that is what used to have to be done in a very time consuming manner
Hmm.
manually is now 30 seconds, not 5 or 10 minutes every time an email comes in. That's a huge difference. Then we can focus on resolving the errors because we didn't have, like, say, somebody who's responsible for the watching the email inbox on a meeting or on vacation or at lunch. And then 2 hours goes by. Now it's 30 seconds, a task is created, and we can start collaborating instantly. And we can even have it do things like this is urgent. So let's also
Hmm.
send a Slack message while it created the task in ClickUp. We know we're going to get the collaboration happening inside of ClickUp, but the Slack message gives us the urgency to go, oh, we better look at this.
So I'll say one thing on that, Micah, real quick. We do have notifications happening in some instances in both places.
Hmm.
Our notifications in Slack, like I'm in that channel. That is like, hey, team, we're seeing some things happen. Account managers are in that loop, but we don't need to be a part of the conversation happening in ClickUp on the resolution until it's resolved if we need to let the client know.
Yeah.
So that's why there's this instance where, yes, we do use Slack, but that is more of, hey, guys, like there's some stuff happening just to loop you in without needing to be on the discussion in ClickUp where the team is solving the problem.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge delineation. I mean, I know we're kind of getting off on a tangent here, but I think that's so important because what you're illuminating is different roles need different bits of information to get their job done. Account managers needs a heads up. Hey, this stuff is happening. But if
Mhm.
they were in every every ClickUp conversation around this, then they're getting all the technical details like, oh, it's this 428 error and it's rate limiting. And a normal account manager is going to be like, I don't know what the F any of this means. And
Yeah, it
it
gets
is
very
making me
overwhelming very
overwhelmed.
quickly. Yes. So they can always go and find it in ClickUp where they need it in case a client has a question, but they don't need to be looped in on the commenting and everything. Okay, Micah, you said that you had a third example.
Yeah. Third example is client onboarding. So
Mhm.
you alluded earlier that we have Dropbox folders already being created. We have Google Drive folders. We have projects in ClickUp. That's another one where we're setting everything up through automation. So a client is one. Awesome. That's fantastic news. We don't have to manually set any of that up. All of our systems are getting everything set up in the right order. So when a Dropbox folder and a Google Drive folder get created, they already have the IDs to send to the ClickUp system so that the ClickUp list and the ClickUp project and all of that is automatically created. Tasks are automatically assigned out and everything is connected.
I mean, I love this one because we looked at the amount of time it was taking to onboard a new client, and it was 2 to 4 hours. And that is just so, like, grueling, tedious things to create these folders, save it in the client hub and click up for like, all of those things. And now it all happens within less than 1 minute. It happens in, like, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's integrated with our CRM pipe drive. This was my very first automation I created in 2016, Micah, before we had agents, before it could be this cool. But this was the one that was like, we're building automation for ourselves. And this was before we had this company. That was our previous company, Go Fan Base. So, never know where your ideas are going to come from. But this one was a huge time saver then and now.
Yeah. A couple other just really quick scenarios because you can kind of lump these all into one is asset creation. So there is not a situation that I can think of where you want to go to an agent and say, "Hey, create an entire deck and then send that out to the world or send that out to a client and have no internal review process."
Hmm.
That internal review process, whatever it might be a proposal, might be a contract, might be a slide deck, might be a kickoff deck, might be a report, any of those types of assets, you can automate the creation, but then you want somebody to review that. So, how do you manage all of that? You
Hmm.
create tasks in ClickUp or Monday or Asana automatically, and then you have the ability to collaborate on hey, what should we change? What should we edit? Does this look right? Or at a bare minimum, even if you're not collaborating, you have that record. You have that task list. You can manage your day. You can manage your calendar. You can manage your workload. Each individual team member has that autonomy if they know what they have to do. If they're getting emails, if they're getting Slacks or team messages, it's impossible to figure out what should I be working on.
Yeah. I mean, that's part that some of those examples are part of our client onboarding process. And Micah, I'm gonna deter us one way. I'm gonna flip this around for just a second because one of my favorite things that we use ClickUp for as well to we have a project for our agents that we have so that we can have easy access because some of them are chatbots, some of them we can
Hmm.
chat with. And so we have a place where all of ours go because there's no way you can remember all of your agents that you have access to. Our team
Right.
is busy, we're busy. So we can always go, okay, let me go to my agent project. Let me find where this agent was. The other thing that we do is we am using ClickUp's embed feature on a project, a view, we embed a view of some of the agents that we
Hmm.
have. So that is such a time saver because it's right there in the project. So an example of this is my PR manager and I, we have a chatbot that creates podcast topics for when I'm a guest on a podcast. Well, that is a view in our PR channel. So I don't have to go hunt that down and her and I have easy access to it.
All right. So I think the easiest way to think about all of this is that you have your automation, you have your agents, you have AI doing stuff, but you still need human ownership. And take automation, take AI out of the equation, you still need human ownership, right? You still need tasks that are assigned to people so that those people can manage their
Mhm.
workload. If you don't have that as a basis in your business, then it is going to be chaos. And as you grow, it's just, I don't know what's beyond terrible chaos. It's just horrible. It's headaches, it's fires, it's all the stuff that you don't want to deal with as a manager, as a founder, as leader.
Mhm.
So you have to retain that human ownership, even with AI, even with the automation. As glorious as it sounds to automate your entire business, it's not realistic. You have to have tasks, you have to have humans reviewing stuff, you have to have that human ownership.
I know, Micah, you and I used ClickUp as the example project management system a lot in these. But these same things that we talked about can also be done with Asana and Monday with their API and using it for automation. So, very seamless experience if you're using those project management systems as well. And Micah, you are on your second AI agent cohort where you're teaching people how to build AI agents. We finished our first one at the end of last year. We've got a new one starting on January 12th this year, 2026. And we'll be continuing to do these how to build agent cohorts. So if you're interested, please reach out to us.